Hi everyone, I've got Vince Mayne with me today. Vince is the Education Director at Archon Sports, working with the schools, colleges and universities. Vince used to work for Bucksport, and those of you that are followers of Bucksport will realise, what great growth there's been in that area in the last 15, 10 years. And Vince has launched with Archon a fitness competition, which sounds really, really exciting. They're looking to move into school. So I've invited Vince on today to tell us a little bit about it, and hopefully we can get some of our PASS schools involved. So Vince, thanks very much for joining us today. It's great to see you. Maybe you could just tell us a bit more about your competition.
Sure. Having worked for Bucks and introduced things like Bucks Super Rugby and so on, traditional sport is strong in Bucks. But we also know there's a whole group of people out there that do fitness, and they're not traditional sports people. So they don't play rugby, they don't play netball, they don't play hockey. So with Archon, with Matt Ford, who created the platform, we've looked to introduce this fitness competition for those non-traditional athletes, to give them an outlet where they might wish to compete, but also at the ground sort of or grassroots level to give people an opportunity to start a fitness journey, to monitor their performance, and using an app and some sort of gamification, just see how they progress. So it doesn't have to be about competition, it can be. But we know that schools and colleges and universities are facing some real struggles financially, that student health and well-being is really important. And how do we create something or give them something that is time efficient, is financially efficient, isn't going to hurt the planet, so it's relatively sustainable. And we've come up with the Archon Fitness Leagues. So you do the fixtures at your school. You don't have to travel. The only bit of travel will be at the end where we have a live final. You can commit through the app and do video. So you can just show your video, and we have a team of people that will check that to make sure it's valid. So it's about creating that community in your school, looking after student well-being through that community participation, stronger engagement across the school. So it could be open for staff and students to use the app. The competition is only open for 16 plus students. So unfortunately, your staff at this moment in time can't compete, although we're very happy to look at that as an option going forward. But yeah, it's creating something that is really efficient in terms of cost. And I'll come on to that later when we answer perhaps some of the questions that I know some of your passive members have forwarded to you, Chris.
Well, I think one of the things we're very keen on Padsis, and we've said this a lot, we can have a debate whether people should play hockey or netball or rugby at school, but no one's going to debate that our pupils should be fit and healthy and understand that when they leave school. So I think this is a great idea for that. The gamification idea I think is fantastic. Maybe you could explain us a bit more about the gamification and particularly the handicapping system that's in place.
Yeah, for sure. So the idea is that the platform is based on over 7 million data sets, and effectively the world record would be ranked 100. And then there's a number of performance curves that run off that. So that's what the score, it turns a performance in kilos or in minutes and seconds into a rating score. And so once you achieve a level, you'll get a bronze field, and that will sort of show on your app persona. And then you can move through silver, gold, diamond, platinum, champion, and right up to unreal. And we think this will work with the age group we're dealing with. We hosted an event with Gymshark out in New York, their lift event, and the sponsored Gymshark athletes took part in a competition based on our format, our app, and our data. And they were all trying to get the Unreal badge. And it was interesting to see how important it was to them to get that.
Yeah.
Many were coming out as platinum, which is great, and some as champions, but only a couple of them got the Unreal bit. And it was actually really interesting to see how that works. Let me talk you through then how the handicapping system works. If you took three individuals, so let's say, for example, you've got a 50-year-old male who weighs 80 kilos, he's 1.8 meters, an 18-year-old female, 55 kilos, 1.5 meters tall, and a 32-year-old female weighs 68 kilos, 1.6 meters. If they wanted to achieve a diamond shield, so effectively the same rating, give or take a few points, On a 1 mile run, the male would have to run 9.5 minutes. So he's 50 years old, 80 kilos. He's a bit heavier, but he has to run 9.5 minutes. The 18-year-old female would have to try and run 8 minutes 35, and the other female would have to run about 9 minutes and 10 seconds. That would give them all essentially the same rating. I say give or take a little bit. And so it takes out age, height, weight, and sex assigned at birth as barriers to performance or barriers to competition. It gives all of those things sort of a negative effect. So everyone can compete equally on the same platform, on the same pitch, with no barriers in place. So that's how that bit works, Chris.
That sounds great. So I can compete, if you like, on an individual basis. So I as an individual look in certain exercise to get my gold, silver, bronze, unreal, whatever it may be. So when I go into the gym or when I'm at home, I can try these things and, there's the gamification aspect, but also I can compete as a school team. Is that right?
That's right. So what we've launched so far, there's a number of different leagues. There's a sort of private gym league. There's a personal trainer league where personal trainers can enter their clients. And then there's the college fitness league, and we've put in schools and colleges underneath that. And then there's the university fitness league. The university fitness league is the one that's most sort of advanced at this moment in time. So what happens is a school would create a squad. We're calling them squads. Effectively, it's a sports club. So you've got your rugby club, your netball club. You'd have your fitness club, but we call it a squad. The students within that download the app. It's free to download, no cost them to that. And within the app, it would identify their school. They select their school, and then they enter their personal data. Now, we're conscious, obviously, for some people, they may not wish to show what their personal data is, particularly their weight. They may be a little bit wary about that. They can set their account to private, so no one else in the school can see their data. They can just, the captain and the administrator will be able to see their scores. So when they do the movements, they will only be able to see their scores. The students can start training and entering their results into the app. So it can be used as part of the curriculum aid. So if students on a Wednesday afternoon are not playing traditional sports and they go to the gym, they can use the app and use the movements in that to have something a bit more meaningful in terms of their engagement in the curriculum time, or as part of physical education, if the teachers wanted to use it in that way, they could use it to support curriculum sport as well. But it's available to those who want to just train, either in the school gym, or if they use a gym at home, they can go to whichever gym, David Lloyd or whoever else.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be about competing. It can be about training and getting good feedback. That creates a leaderboard across the different movements. And the school could appoint a captain, the same as you do with other sport. And with some staff support, that captain is responsible for selecting a roster. So we'll send out 8 fixtures. So say the first one is bench press. The captain and the staff member would look at the leaderboard, see who's got the best bench presses, and you'd pick a roster of, we're waiting to see what the sort of take up is within the schools, whether it's 4 athletes or 8 athletes. So you pick your best bench presser or best bench pressers, and those 8 would perform the movement. They video it, submit their videos. I say we'd assess those videos, and then we'd issue scores based on their rating system, and that would put you in a league position. So if it was 8 athletes, it would be 8 times whatever score they got, and that would then be the league position. Over the course of the 3 or 4 months of the league, there would be a couple of fixtures each month, and effectively that is the Gallagher Premiership or the Premier League. That would give you a league position. Someone will win the league. We then have an in-person live event where you'll bring a squad of 9 athletes, your one best bench presser, your one best deadlift or whatever, across the 8 movements, and then one specialist who will do all 8 movements. And what we'll find at the end of that is the fittest school in the UK and the fittest pupil in the UK. So there's a T-shirt waiting to be printed, which we think is going to be fairly well thought over, that says I'm the fittest pupil in the UK. So that's going to be quite interesting.
Can you just briefly tell us what are the 8 exercises, Vince?
It's a 1 mile run, so that's recorded or measured in minutes and seconds. 500-meter row, 100-meter ski erg. We do a body weight workout, where you do three movements: an air squat, so it's a squat, a deep squat, but with no weights, no loading. Um, a butterfly sit up, where you sit or lie on the floor with your soles of your feet together, hands stretch above your head, and then you sit up through the knees to stretch through, and then you return back to a sort of a lying position, and then a burpee. You do 1 minute of air squats, 30 seconds rest, 1 minute of butterfly sit ups, 30 seconds rest, 1 minute of burpees, and it's a total number of reps recorded. You do a 3 rep deadlift, a 1 rep bench press, 5 reps on the squat. And then for me, the absolute killer is a push press, but it's called EMOM. So basically every minute on the minute. So at the start of the minute, you do 5 reps. If you do it in 20 seconds, you get 40 seconds rest. When the second minute starts, you do another 5 reps and so on. And you do that for 10 minutes. So essentially you'll do 50 reps and you've got to select the load which you can complete those 5 reps times 10 minutes. So that would be the score, would be the number of kilos you have.
Yeah, that sounds exciting. I think I'm just thinking, this would be a great PE unit. It could be a great
Yeah,
co-curricular club, or one thing that schools, sometimes traditionally struggle with is that Wednesday afternoon senior games group. Who, as you say, don't play hockey, don't play rugby, and sometimes they're left to their own devices. This would be a great piece of motivation for them. I think just
yeah,
to finish then, Vince, when would this start? How do people get in contact with you, and how much is it going to cost?
yeah. So we've started the University League. The first fixtures will begin at the end of November. We would start this in January with the first fixtures in the last week of January, and we would get all the sort of preparation work done between now and Christmas. So you could have access once the schools have signed in. They can have access to the app, access to everything, and their students could then start training. So they get prepped for what the competition is going to feel like. So we'd start it in January. We'd do then a couple of fixtures in Feb, probably 3 in March, a couple in April, and then we'd go for the live finals at the end of April. Obviously, we'd build it in around the Easter vacation and so on to make sure we are clashing with that and make sure it's all completed before exams really start to kick in. Cost-wise, it's £500 per school, and that covers entry to the league, entry to the live final, and as many students as staff as you wish to put on there. We don't set a cap where when you get to 1,000 people, we say, oh, you've got to now pay another X amount for another 500 users. You can put as many people on there as you wish, and it's £500, and that's it, job done.
So everyone in the school could technically be on, every member of staff and every
Yep,
pupil. Brilliant. Well, listen,
yep,
Vince,
if they wanted to do that.
that sounds really exciting. As I say, I know I'll include with this video the details of how to contact you, and you've done a deck for us, haven't you, with a bit more information about the app. But as I say, if
Yep,
people want to get in contact, should be enough information for them there. Sounds very good, Vince. So thanks very much for your
yep,
time today. Really
no
appreciate it.
problem. Thanks, Chris.